This is Fox 16 Chief Meteorologist Jeff Baskin. You probably are accustomed to hearing some of the terms from the Storm Prediction Center like moderate risk or slight risk or enhanced risk. So we're going to take a minute and talk about what those different risk terms mean so you know what to expect when we talk about severe weather. Now, the lowest end category is what we call a marginal risk. And marginal risks happen pretty frequently. And when there is a marginal risk, it means there may be some thunderstorms. And if there are, it's possible that a couple of them could become briefly severe. You could get a couple of isolated strong to severe storms. They don't necessarily last all that long or stay severe all that long. And the main risk typically are some hail as well as some gusty winds. Every once in a while there can be a very low wind tornado threat associated with that as well, but usually there's not much of a tornado threat associated with the marginal risk. Slight risk is something we see in Arkansas quite a bit, and that means that some showers and thunderstorms are expected and some severe weather is possible associated with that. Usually we're talking about a hail and wind threat, but sometimes there's an isolated tornado threat with a slight risk as well. The next category up is enhanced, and that means that likely there's going to be some storms around, and there could be numerous severe thunderstorms possible, some damaging winds as well as some large hail, and oftentimes there is a tornado threat associated with an enhanced risk as well, and sometimes that tornado risk can be somewhat significant. Now, once we get into a moderate risk, you're really starting to talk about the threat for a major severe weather outbreak with widespread damaging winds, large hail, the possibility of strong to violent tornadoes. The highest category is a high risk, something you don't see issued a whole lot by the Storm Prediction Center. You can go a whole year or more without a high risk ever being issued. But when a high risk is issued, it means that a major severe weather outbreak is expected with a large area of widespread damaging wind, very large hail, numerous strong to violent tornadoes. Some of them could be long track tornadoes that can stay on the ground for miles and miles. And when there's a high risk scenario, usually that means there is a very significant risk to lives and property and something you should pay very close attention to. Fortunately, we don't see high risks issued in Arkansas all that often, but sometimes it happens, and when it does, we've had some pretty tragic results. So pay very close attention, especially once you start to get into these higher risk categories. So that's a little bit of a look at what these different categories mean. So the next time you see that map from the Storm Prediction Center, you know exactly what we are facing when you look at the risk areas.